Welcome to 3rd and 21, the show we do two things. Talk about college football, try to have a little fun. Talk about college football, try to have a little fun. KPI Top 12 is out. Some big changes, especially at the top. Before we do that, let's go around the country, talk about some teams not in the KPI Top 12. In the segment we like to call hashtag thumbs up, thumbs down.
Thumbs up!
Mac Brown and UNC going for 2 against Clemson. Loved it. There's some people saying, oh, you should play for overtime. There was no guarantee that Clemson would take it to overtime. All they had to do was drive down and kick a field goal. I love the call. Good job, Mac Brown.
Thumbs down.
Rutgers, and I'm not just talking about the blowout loss they had to Michigan. I'm talking about Rutgers football in general. Engage with me in a little fantasy that Rutgers goes and says, we're tired of getting beat 50-0 every week. We're going to go to the Patriot League, where Holy Cross and Bucknell says, bring it on, Rutgers, we're not afraid of you. But the Big Ten looks around and said, we need a team. So they pick West Virginia, who's tired of living their life on a plane, going to Texas and Oklahoma every week. They immediately make the Big Ten better. But the Big 12 is now the Big 9, so they get aggressive. They pick up Houston, SMU, who is 5-0 this year, and ranked in the top 20 for the first time since the mid-'80s. Way to go, Mustangs. But the Big 12 picks up Houston, SMU, Memphis, Cincinnati, and UCF becomes a real 14-team league. The Pac-12's out there, always a little bit late, but they feel the rumbling. They pick up BYU and Boise to make a 14-team league, but it's all predicated on Rutgers realizing that they're a Big Ten school and name only.
Thumbs up!
Chuba Hubbard, running back, Oklahoma State, almost 300 yards last week on 25 carries, almost 1,000 yards for the season so far. To put that in perspective, terrific running back from Ohio State, J.K. Dobbins, is almost 300 yards behind him.
Thumbs down.
Vanderbilt Stadium last week, I'm not talking about Vanderbilt beating Northern Illinois. I'm talking about less than 15,000 people being in the stadium. I know it was Northern Illinois. I know you're used to SEC teams coming in and buying up the tickets to fill up your stadium. Sometimes, Vanderbilt, you got to do it yourself. You're SEC school. You're better than that.
Thumbs up!
Pac-12, just being the Pac-12, I don't know if you get to watch any of it, but it is incredibly entertaining. I love the Pac-12.
Thumbs down.
Colorado State did not have this in mind when they hired Mike Bobo a number of years ago. They are 1-4 and looking straight at another 3-win season. Mike Bobo could have a job in the SEC as offensive coordinator next year, and that might be what it comes down to.
Thumbs down.
Akron hears me talking about Rutgers being terrible and says, hold my beer. They lost last week to UMass. I did not think it was possible to lose to UMass, but Akron, you proved me wrong.
Welcome to 3rd and 21, a show where we talk about college football and try to have a little fun. We talk about college football and try to have a little fun. Now back to you, Kemper.
Welcome back. Thank you, Jenny, for the voiceover. This segment brought to you by Kenny Whitworth, the official real estate professional of 3rd and 21, selling agent, listing agent, land acquisition, land development. Kenny will sell it at gmail.com. Kenny's a guy who loves real estate and it shows. Kenny will sell it at gmail.com. I don't know if Kenny was part of your last real estate transaction. What I do know is he needs to be part of your next one. Let's take it at 7, go to 12 to 7.
Number 12.
Number 12, Washington gets a really nice win over USC. They've got a real beat up and disappointing Stanford team this week. Washington is playing very well on the offensive line. Their defense is very physical, and Jacob Eason looks like an NFL quarterback.
Number 11.
Penn State had an absolute fantastic game last week against Maryland. Pitched a shutout. Penn State's very deep, and they have a beat-up Purdue team coming in who's lost Rondell Moore, their best player, and their quarterback's out with a broken clavicle, and that just sounds like it hurts.
Number 10.
Number 10, Notre Dame. Very physical game against Georgia. They play Virginia, who I like a lot, will over skill. But they take down the ACC's second best team. Notre Dame is legit.
Number 9.
Number 9, we have Florida. Ever since Felipe Franks went down and Kyle Trask has come in, there seems to be a different energy. One thing is for sure, the defense will keep them in every game. Offense seems to be coming back, and they're getting a ton of players back. I think at least 4 players will be back for the Auburn game. Florida getting points at home. That's interesting.
Number 8.
Number 8, we have Wisconsin did not play a perfect game against Northwestern, but they played good enough to win in a very convincing fashion. Got Kent State this week. I love watching their offensive line blow people out. Good job, Wisconsin.
Number 7.
Number 7, it is time we start taking Auburn seriously all season long. I've kind of been looking at Auburn, waiting for the other shoe to drop. But their defense will keep them in every game, and Bo Nix is growing up, taking the Auburn offense on long drives, long sustained drives, which I didn't think they were going to be able to do. Cannot wait for the game this week in Gainesville. Keep an eye on that. And we're going to take our first timeout. Give me 15 seconds.
Maxey Family Properties.
Family property.
Maxey Family Properties. Auburn versus Florida should be a good one. Maxey Family Properties. 5, 4, 3, 2.
I want to say thank you very much to Maxey Family Properties. Butch Maxey, you can tell when somebody loves what they're doing. I talked a little bit about that with Kenny. Butch loves building houses, and it shows. A lot of rock, a lot of cedars, a lot of cedar at the Fortress. Home starting at mid-500s, Jefferson, Georgia. Tell you what, let's go 6 through 1, and before we do this, I will say you can make a case for any of these teams to be ranked number 1. And throw a blanket over 6 through 1, pick 4 out, you'll have 4 winners. The season will play itself out, but right now you have 6 very good teams right here.
Number 6.
Oklahoma took care of business against Texas Tech. When I watched the game, what I really liked was Oklahoma playing defense. You know what you're going to get with their offense, but when their defense starts playing, watch out. That's what happened. Good job. They've got Kansas, who went back to being the Kansas of old last week, and maybe they're just getting ready to get blown out by Oklahoma.
Number 5.
Number 5, we got Clemson. There is no shame in winning a game on the road against a divisional rival, but there is just too much credit given to Clemson for what they did last year. There's no question. Dabo Swinney teams get better as the year go on, and when the brightest of lights come on, Clemson will show up. They've got a ton of talent there. Right now, though, they're a little bit struggling, and their schedule is just so weak, they're getting punished.
Number 4.
Number 4, the Ohio State University. Everything was set up for Nebraska to really show out. The crowd was live. Coming out party for Nebraska. What Ohio State did was put a 38-0 on them at halftime. Really cool, ton of yards, 580 yards, only 2 penalties. They are playing at an absolutely high level offensively and defensively. The Ohio State University, number 4.
Number 3.
LSU had the week off. They've got Utah State this week. Utah State's a pretty good little team. We'll challenge them a little bit. I'm a believer in what LSU is doing this year.
Number 2.
Georgia plays Tennessee. Interesting fact. Georgia versus Tennessee all-time record, 23 wins, 23 losses, 2 ties, 23, 23, and 2. Last 4 years, 2 wins for Tennessee, 2 wins for Georgia. I don't think this game is going to be anything close. I'm not saying that I think it's going to be close, but it's interesting that they're 23, 23, and 2. Number 1.
Number 1.
Alabama. When I'm watching them, this weekend I had a epiphany. Don't worry about Alabama not looking like the teams that you're used to Alabama seeing. Appreciate Tua. Appreciate the offense. Appreciate the NFL receivers playing on Saturday. And trust that Nick Saban is going to get the defense, very young defense, playing in the right spots. They need to improve there, but right now, Alabama does not like being ranked out of the number 1 position, and they're back in there. Tell you what, we're going to take a quick break. We come back, we'll go to the ever-popular mailbag, and put your money where your mouth is.
Superhero fire protection.
Right on.
Right on. Georgia and Tennessee, man. Should be a
Can't
blowout.
Can't wait. It's a lot of the weird things happen in that series, but George will kill him.
Is that Knoxville?
Yeah.
5, 4, 3, 2.
Welcome back. I want to say thank you to Superhero Fire Protection, your home for inspection, service, repair of all things fire protection, sprinklers, alarms, extinguishers. If it touches fire protection, you need to get in touch with Superhero Fire, 678-804-6111, 678-804-6111. Quotes are always free. Tell you what, let's go to the ever-popular mailbag. That's where you can write in to me at thirdand21@gmail.com, thirdand21@gmail.com. Ask me any question. I'll do my level best to give you a clear and concise answer. First question.
Tony Dennis from Grayson. Hey Kemper, show some love for UAB.
I'm going to show some love for Tony Dennis and the whole Dennis family and for UAB. UAB is a very tough team. Last year, 11-3, got to and won a bowl game. Certainly on track to do that again this year. What happened to them a couple of years ago when they got shut down was totally uncool, but whatever. That's in the past. Very tough team and great logo. I love UAB's logo.
Frank P. from Cummings, Georgia. Look at my Arizona State Sun Devils. I told you.
Yes, you did tell me, and they are playing at a very, very high level. I like what they're doing. They're playing just like what you would expect from Herm Edwards. Disciplined, physical team. I think that they are probably going to be the representative of the Pac-12 South. Tell you what, let's change it up. Go to Money Where Your Mouth Is. That's where I pick games against the spread. Keep track all season long. What did we do last week?
2 and 3 for 40%, which brings us to a total of 9 and 9 for 50%.
50%, but here's the thing. All we really wanted to do was get information up to that point. Now we put the hammer down for the second part of the year. 4-pack of winners. Duke -4.5 against Pitt. I don't know if Pitt was overlooking Delaware Blue Hens last week, but you should never be in a fourth quarter game with Delaware. Good job, Delaware Blue Hens. But Pitt's just not all that good. Duke is. I'll take Duke -4.5. Washington -14.5, playing disappointing Stanford. Jake Eason looks like an NFL quarterback. I like that one. Number 3, Texas goes to West Virginia, where Neil Brown is going to do a really good job. He's going to have to get the talent level back up. I think Texas is 10.5 points better than West Virginia. And fourthly, Boise State plays a absolutely terrible UNLV team. Got to give up 23 points. That's a lot of points, but you get to watch my new favorite player, Hank Bachmeier, quarterback of Boise State. That'll get you to 4-0. Duke -4.5. Washington -14.5. Texas -10.5. And Boise State -23. Butch Maxey. Uncle Butch. Kind of been struggling a little bit out the gate, but how did he do last week?
He was 0-1 for 0%, which brings him to 1-5 for 20%.
20%, but listen, again, all you want to do is put yourself in a position to win, and what we have here is Uncle Butch likes North Carolina -9 against Georgia Tech. I like that one. I actually was going to pick that one, but the line's so low, it scared me off because I thought it really should be a little bit higher than that. Bowling Green +46 against Notre Dame. That's simply a points play there. Bowling Green is not very good. They are really not a good team playing Notre Dame. Maybe after 2 physical games, Notre Dame takes a little bit of a breather there. And again, sticking with the points, he likes Purdue +27 at Penn State. Purdue is minus their two top players, so keep that in mind. But Uncle Butch is on the comeback trail, and that is UNC -9, Bowling Green +46. That is a big number. And Purdue +27. Tell you what, I hope your team wins this weekend. We're going to watch some games, come back, talk about it next week.